Hey guys, how's it going? Happy Friday. Now, I know it's been a crappy week, and look, it's going to be crappy for a while. However, we still have each other, and we still have this republic if you can keep it. Now, I usually talk about the Declaration of Independence in almost every stream, and I'm going to continue to do so because we can never forget how this country was supposed to be founded. We're supposed to have a government that was created amongst men. I was talking to a very special little girl. She's my baby girl. So, hi, baby girl. And also my beautiful wife, who they don't get to spend time with me when I'm doing these streams. And I was just talking to her the other day, and I told her, I said, you have the right to breathe fresh air, right? Well, and then I told her, I said, did you also know that you were endowed by your creator certain unalienable rights, that amongst these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? So I'm going to read the Declaration of Independence for my beautiful, gorgeous, absolutely perfect 9-year-old daughter. And I'm also going to read it for all of you because all of you are beautiful too. And all of you deserve a republic. And I hope this motivates all of you. And I don't know how much they're teaching this in schools anymore. So if you have any little ones, grandchildren, children, nieces, nephews, neighbors, friends, I encourage you to remind the children nowadays that they have certain unalienable rights, that amongst these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And if they have that, that's all they would need, right? And if they have the right to breathe fresh air and they have the right to be normal. See, being a patriot and believing in the founding documents, that is normal. And we need to reject what they're calling this new normal. Governor Gretchen Whitmer, she didn't give you your rights if you live in Michigan. And even if you guys live in a state where you love your governor, they didn't give you your rights either, did they? Now, this sleepy old man, he doesn't know where he is. Now, he certainly didn't give you your rights, and I think all of you know that. And here's the crazy part, and this is what's beautiful about this country, and this is where this world can still be a beautiful place, because this is a battle of good versus evil, and good needs to prevail, and we can never become a communist country. Even the beautiful words written in this document I'm about to read, actually, those people didn't give you your rights either. In Congress, July 4th, 1776, the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth, not of the federal government, listen to me here, honey, the powers of the earth, the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. These rights were given to you by God, not by anyone from the government, even though they're trying to take them away every single day. That amongst these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. What that means, and anyone can understand this, what that means is they can only govern us if they're under our consent. As soon as we no longer consent, they're not allowed to govern us anymore. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its power in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. It's up to us to decide what's going to keep us safe and make us happy, and no one from the government is ever going to be able to provide you happiness. We need to always remember that, all of us do. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable, and that's why we're in the situation we're in right now, in my opinion, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism. What does despotism mean? It means the sleepy old man. We call him the former vice president. That's a despot. The governor of the state of Michigan is also a despot. And many, many people that are of the ruling class. This is what despots are. These are bad people, and these people are not good, and it's not okay. It is their right. It is their duty to throw off such government. It's not only your right, but it is your duty. That's what the Declaration of Independence says. Not me. This is literally what our country was founded on. To throw off such government, to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies and Michiganders and United States citizens, in my opinion. And such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain and the former Vice President and all these tyrannical governors is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. And that's where your rights in this country, that's where they're enumerated. Your rights didn't actually come from this document, though. But it strictly forbids the government from treading on your rights. And it's to remind us, and we need to be reminded that all the time, that this country is a government that's instituted amongst men, and that the government's only allowed to be there at the consent of the governed. Now, what does that mean? It means, well, if they're doing a good job and they're doing the only thing that they're really supposed to be there for, which is to preserve our natural rights that were given to us of God, of nature's God, that's what the Declaration says. If they're there just to preserve our rights, then they're doing what they're supposed to do. And if they're not, it's time to say, you're fired, you're out of here, right? So hopefully that provides inspiration to all of you. And if you don't mind, I'm going to read a quick bedtime story before it gets too late. And she's probably a little bit too old for this book, but hey, honey, Daddy still likes this book. And I remember reading it to you when you were really small. So we're going to read Hop on Pop. It's been a few weeks since I have, but hopefully some of the big boys and girls like this too. Up, pop, pop is up. Cup, pop, pop in a cup. Pop, cup. Cup on pop. I think I read that wrong, didn't I? But that's all right. Red, red, they call me Red. Red bed, I am in bed. Red, Ned, Ted, and Ed in bed. I like his hairdo. All ball, we all play ball. Ball wall, up on a wall. You know, they don't want you to read this to your kids anymore. It's kind of crazy. All fall off the wall. He, me, he is after me. Him, Jim. Jim is after him. Rawr. That's pretty scary, actually. I wouldn't want to mess into that thing, would you? Whew. CB, we see a B. CB3, now we see three. Three tree, three fish in a tree. Fish in a tree? How can that be? It's kind of preposterous, isn't it? Pat, they call him Pat. Pat sat on a hat. Pat sat on a cat. Meow. Pat sat on a bat. No, Pat, no, don't sit on that. Walk, we like to walk. Walk, talk, we like to talk. Hop, we like to hop. We like to hop on top of Pop. Stop! You must not hop on Pop. Say, what does this say? See, he, me, we, Pat, pup, pop. He, three, tree, be, top, hop, stop. Ask me tomorrow, but not today. All right, go to sleep, honey, and hopefully everyone else enjoyed that too. How are you guys doing tonight? What's going on? Let's see who's in the chat tonight. A bunch of good people. Red's here. What's happening, Red? Thanks for supporting the channel, man. Premiums on silver are too high. And I think we're going to see prices on that stuff going up a lot. Lori DeVries. What's happening, Lori? How you doing? Nice to see you. There's so many of you. I can't say hi to all of you, but I like you guys. So let's see what's up here. Dale, what's happening? He says, howdy, 2A. What's up, man? Pillbox Bunker. There's another good one. Now, here's one that's not so good. We call her a beauty, right? But in a different kind of way. Susan Wiki. I'll tell you guys a little bit about her later. She gave me trouble with another video this week, but Susan Wiki. Thank goodness he's still here. I mean, yeah. I still need to be there so you guys have someone to mess with, right? Ting, what's happening? Yes, read, study, and learn the Constitution. It should be mandatory at least 3 times in schools. I think they should start off by reading the Declaration of Independence every day. Why not? Probably a little bit too much to wish for nowadays, but I think we'd be a better country if they did. A-Dubs, what's happening, man? And by the way, A-Dubs has been helping me out. I'm thinking about getting an AREX Delta 9mm, probably the M, which is the compact midsize. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. I'll go back and read it. Is this something you guys would like to see reviews on for the channel? Should I get one? And we'll do videos about it. So let me know. It's called the AREX Delta Gen 2, probably the M. That's what I'm leaning towards, but let me know what you guys think. Ray, how's it going? Hopefully you enjoyed the storybook. I think Ray liked this. What do you guys think? I'm pretty sure she did. What's going on? Chuck R. Affirmative on the T, Chuck. I'm actually getting kind of low right now, but I'm good. I've got it. I know he's always making sure I'm well hydrated with the tea. Old Coasty, what's happening? I frown when he calls us honey. No, I was my very special, I'll just call her baby girl. I think you guys know who I'm talking about, right? Maybe you do. IROC, SS85. What's happening, man? Nice to see you, dude. Harry Grimley, what's happening, Harry? What's up, man? Just saying hi to a few of you guys here. John Doe with the super chat. Thanks a lot, man. He says, what will the former vice president do on the 8th? If polymer 80 gets banned, will that change the definition of a firearm? Will he ban polymer 80 on the 8th? Well, they give a certain period of time, and I did talk about this last week, where basically they're putting the ATF, he's charging the ATF to reinterpret current firearms laws. Now, these firearms laws primarily come from the National Firearms Act, around 1934, right? As amended, Gun Control Act 1968, and as that's been amended throughout the years. That's basically where most of the gun control laws come from, is those two acts, and then they get amended with other public acts or laws. So, look, if you literally look at what the Constitution says and the limited amount of power that the government is supposed to have, and you also look at the Second Amendment, which is very, very clear. Literally, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, shall not be infringed. It doesn't say, please don't infringe. Maybe you shouldn't. No, shall not. That's a directive. So, of course, there's no way he can ban anything based on that. However, just like the Declaration says, after a long train of usurpations, and they've been usurping these founding documents for a long, long time now, they perverted these founding documents so much where, according to the current laws and the systems that we've grown accustomed to, right? Apparently, we've grown accustomed to them because the people have allowed all these legislators to stay in power, and they've allowed this government to keep being tyrants. So with that said, the consent of the governed, the people have consented apparently to so many gun control laws. When the ATF redefines these, they call them 80s. It's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. And I hate case law, guys. I always have to preface all this stuff because it shouldn't be. But if you want an honest answer to your question, that's it. Yeah, these rulemaking, these promulgations of rules, unless a court strikes them down, which I don't have a lot of faith in that. But maybe, we'll see. There's good organizations like FPC, GOA, and others that'll be fighting this in court. So we'll see. But it's going to have the full force and effect of law. You can get locked up. They can shoot your dog, go to prison. Now, they're not allowed to shoot your dog, but that happens a lot, doesn't it, when they raid people? So it's going to be really bad. And they're basically now giving the ATF purview over things that aren't even firearms. Has anyone ever thought about it that way? I'm sure you have, but we need to be reminded of that. Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Well, these are not even firearms. So they're actually now moving their purview into non-firearms? Yeah. Yeah, he promised he's going to do it. He promised he's going to do it. And that's why when I talk about these FUDs, people that said, I voted for this sleepy old man. I voted for the former vice president, right? That's what they'll say. I voted for the former vice president, but ain't no one coming after your guns. Yeah, actually they are. And he promised he was going to. And now he's delivering on his promises, isn't he? Meanwhile, usurping all of the founding documents, in my opinion, this country is becoming barely even recognizable. But, as I've said before, people have allowed this to go on for so long that these agencies, these bureaucracies have become very, very powerful. And they've been directed to take a look at ghost guns. Remember the bump stocks? Remember the bump stocks, guys? This was the Republican president, Trump. He said, get them gone. I don't like bump stocks. And they did. And now the 6th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals has disagreed with that. We'll see. We'll see if SCOTUS takes that up and reverses it for the whole country. But right now, seems like the ATF can kind of come in and say whatever they want. And oh yeah, that's what it seems like, doesn't it? John Crump Live with a super chat. Thanks a lot, man. He said, thanks for what you do. And thank you. John was my lead on 2 of the videos that I did this week alone, which we'll talk about those in a little bit. Kind of troubling, scary stuff, isn't it? And that's why we need to remember this Declaration of Independence. And we need to remember our Constitution, because they're running away from it so fast right now. I really am afraid there's going to be a time not too long from now where you might not even be allowed to talk about these founding documents. And to a point, we're kind of not allowed to already. You know, YouTube gives me a hard time all week long. Right now, they're still willing to let me talk about this, but we need to get the word out. You know, this is nothing new, but if it gets forgotten about, if it just becomes a piece of parchment paper back in the National Archives and nobody knows about it and nobody talks about it anymore, we're going to keep on getting in further trouble than we're already in right now. Strike 9 with the super chat. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it, dude. Thank you. Good to see you, by the way. You've been around a long time, man. A lot of you guys have been. Good to see all of you. What's happening, Jane Locke? How you doing? Nice to see you. Well, I hope you're... Okay, some will want to know how I'm doing. Blood tests show a lot of inflammation. So if you're still struggling, and I wish you the best, Jane. It's a long fight for you right now, but I think you're going to be okay. You'll be all right. Just hang in there, and yeah. I wish you the best. God bless you, Jane. See, she did love it. That's good. I told you guys, my baby girl, my little girl, and also all the big boys and girls in the chat. You know, they don't want you. Certain things, they're trying to cancel this. They don't want you to read it anymore. But why not? It's a good book. So I'll keep reading this stuff. I encourage all of you to do the same if you want to. It's up to you what your children learn, too. Don't forget that. You can't just rely on the public school system and the government and then wonder years later where they're like, declaration of what? You mean I have the right to breathe fresh air? That's the conversation I was having with my daughter earlier this week, just a couple days ago. Drain the Swamp 2.0. Thanks for the super chat, man. That's really generous of you. Thanks a lot, man. It says you're about to get room rated from the Montecraft channel. It's all good. They usually super chat. Awesome, dude. Sounds like you're hanging out in another channel over there. Awesome, man. If anyone's come over from that channel, welcome. Nice to see you guys. Mateo, thanks for the super chat, man. He says, shout out for Jane Locke. I know. She's been dealt pretty tough. She's been dealt a tough hand lately, guys. She really has. And I wish her the best, and I wish all of you the best that are sick. Cave Dave, what's happening, dude? Nice to see you, man. Thanks for supporting the channel. He's talking about getting some ammo in stock. Hopefully that's a good sign. Yeah, I hope so. Heck yeah. Jameson Hurley, thanks for the super chat, man. He said 2A is winning in Texas. Well, that's good to hear. I like winning. Don't you guys? I love to hear winning. Bought a Black Rain Ordnance AR to celebrate. Nice, dude. Awesome. If you guys are just coming in, people have been asking me. There's a pistol out. It's called the AREX Delta, okay? Gen 2. I'm thinking about the M. Just let me know down there in the chat. Would you guys look forward to videos on that? Or is there something else? I was kind of thinking about maybe looking at the SAR 9. A lot of people have asked about that too. But for some reason, this AREX Delta seems pretty popular. Now, I'm worried. I don't know. I'm worried the trigger is going to be kind of heavy on it, but let me know if you guys own it, what you think. What's happening, Joe Pichetti? I'll give you another shout out, man. Nice to see you, dude. I can't keep up with the chat, guys. There's so many of you. But when I see somebody, I love to give you a shout out. What's happening, Orion Fixer? Shout out to you, man. You're one of the earlier ones, too. You've been watching these streams since there was like 15 people watching, man. I appreciate it. Rick Nieper, what's happening, Rick? How you doing? Nice to see you, man. And I'm going to agree with Ray. Make sure you like the video. So, yeah, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, guys. It's called an algorithm. Look, I'm not on here trying to get rich and famous. That's certainly not ever going to happen here. But they suppress a lot of stuff on this channel. Now, last stream, for whatever reason, got tons of views. They actually suggested it to people, and people liked it. And that's awesome because I just want to get this message out to a lot of people. But the regular video I put out the week before that, they literally showed me. Remember my community post? This has been restricted. And then last week I had to try 3 times. I literally did an appendix inside the waistband holster, a Forge Tech holster, which I love. Just literally showing you guys a holster with that UTG OP3 on top. I'm not even going to say what it's called. It's such taboo now. It took me 3 times of making tweaks to that video before they finally let me put it up. So I'm not complaining. I'm just letting you guys know what the reality is on here. To put up a holster video, I had to try 3 times because apparently that's so edgy. I'm so controversial. I tried to put up a holster with a certain cut on the top of it. And if you even mention what that is, that was on the top of that Taurus G3C Toro pistol, that thing that I put on the top that you look through, it's so controversial to even like talk about it or have it in a video. I'm serious, guys. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just jumping the gun here, but 2 weeks in a row, I literally had to go through heck and back to get my videos up there. And the one time I said, screw it, I'll just put it up in restricted mode. And it's got less views than like any video I've done in years. But whatever. I wanted to get it out there because you guys want to know about this stuff. So then the same pistol, I'm doing a holster, and it has that demonized thing on the top of it. And they put me through the ringer just trying to get that thing up there. So if you guys would like to help support the channel, there's several ways you can do that. Just giving a thumbs up, watching, hanging out. That's awesome. Telling your friends about my videos. I have an Amazon link. It costs you nothing if you're shopping there anyways. Just clicking through. I do earn a small commission. It adds up where I can buy stuff like that mysterious taboo thing that I put on the top of the Taurus G3C Toro. Things like that. And of course, you can join my Patreon or become a channel member, and that helps too. And I put the money back into the channel. And that's literally what I'm asking you guys tonight is the AREX Delta the pistol you guys want to see, or is there something else? And for all the Taurus fans, I've been really busy this last week. I showed the G3C Toro, and I kind of hinted around. I've got a G3 Toro that I'm borrowing right now, so you're going to see a video on that very soon. So don't request that because I already have it, but let me know what you guys are looking forward to seeing. And don't request like an MP44 or a Sturmgewehr 44 because I can't afford that, but all of your generous super chats, the ways you guys help me support, I want to buy a gun with it is what I'm trying to say so that we can do some videos, and I want it to be something you guys are interested in. What's up, John Crump Live? You made Drudge today. Really? In a good way, I hope, I assume? I'll have to check that out. Nice, man. Yeah, I know. Hopefully you're okay, man. Are your dogs in good health? I hope your dogs are good. And I literally mean that, too. I'm not even joking, guys. He's been leaking some documents that were leaked to him, rather. Some leaked documents. He's been publishing them on AmmoLand. And we're finding out that you might be being surveilled. You might be under surveillance from the federal government if you're buying too many guns, in their opinion. Now, how many is that? We don't know. Now, I would guess under the former vice presidential administration that we're under right now, probably 1 is too many. And I don't say this to fearmonger. I don't say this to get you mad, although you should be angry when you're watching them literally try to erode all of your fundamental God-given rights. But in my opinion, this administration and many people, I believe they do want to take all the guns. I literally do. As somebody left in a super chat earlier tonight, they said something to the effect of, are they going to go after the 80%ers? Yes, they are. And those aren't even firearms. They do not, look, they do not fall under the National Firearms Act because they don't meet the definition. They ain't a gun. They ain't a firearm. They're just not. And definitions and laws are supposed to matter. Now, if you go even 1 inch over, if you don't cross all your T's, dot your I's, do everything perfectly, you could find yourself in front of a grand jury. They'll convene a grand jury on you. If you guys know how that works, a grand jury can indict a ham sandwich. And you can find yourself emptying your whole life savings out, putting yourself in debt, depleting your kids' college fund, whatever it may be, to try to keep yourself out of prison for a very, very long time. If you don't follow these laws to the letter of the law, right? Even though the Constitution prohibits, it says shall not be infringed. But whatever, them, no. These laws that strictly define what a firearm is, these so-called P80s, 80%ers, they're not firearms, and they're just not. So if you have an organization under this current administration that's so emboldened and so rogue that they're now regulating something that doesn't even fit by statutory definition, okay? Or by obviously the founding documents, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. It doesn't meet any definition of anything. But they're literally saying that they're going to be getting rid of them, banning them. I don't know. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? It really, really is. And it does make you worry. And he's going to be all right, you know, but I worry about people like John Crump, because he's a really nice guy, and I consider him a friend, you know, over the internet here. And when they expose some of this stuff, it makes you wonder what they're going to do. And I hope he's okay, and I hope all of us are okay. You never know, right? They might come and raid my shop right now because I read Hop on Pop. You never know, right? Somebody just said I'm one of the nicest guys on YouTube. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do, actually. A lot of people don't like me. And they're mean to me, which is fine. That's totally cool. You're allowed to be mean if you want, but I like hanging out with other nice people. So that's why I hang out with you guys on Friday nights. Scott Boz with a super chat. What's happening, man? Thanks again. Nice to see you, dude. He says, stay vigilant, be active, and push local politicians to work for us within the Constitution. Yes, I've talked about that so many times. And thanks for reminding them, Scott. They work for us. Local, local, local. Look, you're never going to get a one-on-one conversation with this sleepy old man. And that's okay, because you probably wouldn't enjoy that conversation very much, right? The one that lives on Pennsylvania Avenue, they say. I mean, supposedly he lives there. I have no idea. You might not get to talk to him, nor would you want to, but there might be many fine people within your county commissioners, right? Yeah, the trustees on your local township board, your school board, very, very important right now. State legislators. You know, the 10th Amendment says besides the very specific rights, and there's only a few, okay, that are authorities, rather, that are given to the federal government, very limited powers. They don't have rights. I just slipped up. The very limited powers that the federal government has, there's only a few. Besides that, it belongs to the people and to the states. Yeah. We're supposed to be these 50 United States. We're not supposed to be just this one monolithic thing that some sleepy old man, we can call him the former vice president, call him what you want, just says, I'm going to tread on all of your rights, and everyone just has to listen. It's not the way the Constitution was set up. And I'll tell you another thing, this sleepy old man, what do they call her? They call her President Kamala Harris. Have you guys heard that before? That's what they call her. Kamala, they pronounce it so many ways. I'm not even making fun of her. I don't know how to pronounce her name, to be honest with you. She's not going to come and arrest you, is she? No. The former vice president, he's not going to come and personally arrest you either. It's going to be your local sheriffs. You need to be talking to them and making sure that they understand their oath and honor their oath. These are supposed to be oath keepers. And they've been charged. It's their duty because they swore an oath to protect this country and to defend the Constitution against enemies, foreign and domestic. And you need to remind them of that too. Whether it's your local city police, your state troopers, they all swear the same oath, don't they? It's very important, as well as your local politicians. Scott continues, D.C. needs to be reminded the Constitution was written to restrain the government and not the people. Of course it was. Now the government's supposed to be us, right, Scott? Thanks, man. RP Talk, thanks a lot, dude. Channel member, super chat, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. He says, late, but I made it. I should have adhered to bros before hoes, but I caved. It's all good, man. We get it, dude. It's good. So I'm here now and wondering if the G3C trigger is as good as advertised. Dude, I really like it. You guys can all chime in and help answer that, but yeah, man. The G2C trigger, it was fine. It was good enough, but the G3C trigger. We're talking about the Taurus G3C, by the way. If you guys aren't, into the Taurus pistols. Great trigger, man. Really. I mean, is it the best trigger ever? Competition 1911? No. But for what it is, a polymer pistol, concealed carry, oh yeah, man. Really nice. One of my favorite things about it, to be honest with you. And I think you're going to find other people that are going to agree on that. Max Shot 62, what's happening, man? How you doing? My M1 has always wanted a screen career and available for a starring role. What are you talking about? M1 Carbine Garand? I love my World War II guns. I do milcert videos every once in a while on this channel. They're not the most popular, but I like to do them once in a while just because I like it, and I know some of you guys do. Let's see here. Malo De Niro, LOL, we love you. Well, I think you're saying that to me, so I love you also. Thank you. Rainy Day, 44, 124, 7.62. That's a good caliber. Here's some 7.62 by 39. Milsurp brass case, right? Good stuff. Says too many guns. Does Jay Leno have too many cars? Cars kill more people than guns, right? It's a really good point, isn't it? Yeah. And that's the crazy thing. Of course, we have the right to drive cars. We should be able to freely move about these 50 United States. But they didn't actually enumerate that, did they? Now people say, well, they didn't have the car back then. Okay. But they didn't enumerate the right to have horse and buggy shall not be infringed, did they? No. But they did say the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Not because they didn't want too many guns. No, because they wanted us to have equal to and actually more arms than the federal government. That's literally what the founding fathers said. Many, many times they talked about that. And I'm actually going to go through a couple things that hopefully you guys get some inspiration on. I dug up some more founding father stuff in my spare time. I had 5 minutes of spare time, guys, so I prepared some additional documents that were written by the founding fathers. It's going to kind of touch on that a little bit, why I think they wanted us to be well armed. And in my opinion, if you look at the way this country was designed, this is supposed to be the greatest experiment on self-governance, right? We do have a republic. That's what Ben Franklin said. He was asked right at the founding of this country. Do you guys remember this? We need to remember this because they don't want us to. And they want us to literally, in my opinion, become a socialist, communist country. And they're the same thing. And when I saw that former vice president on TV a couple days ago, literally, if I would have closed my eyes, I would have thought we were listening to a prime minister in another country or a premier in Russia. Yeah. Or a general that was leading another country into socialism, communism, dictatorial power. That's literally what I heard. And that's why we need to remember that when Ben Franklin was asked, sir, do we have a monarchy or a republic? He said a republic if you can keep it. He didn't say a republic no matter what. He didn't say that. He just literally said a republic if you can keep it. And that you was literally the person he was talking to, but it was also society at large. It was people. When they say we the people, that's who it was then. In 1776, in 1791, all the way through the 1800s, 1900s. And here in the year 2021, it still means that today. And if there's too many people that don't want a republic, well, then we're not going to be able to keep it. But if there's enough people that are willing to just keep at it and stay vigilant and not give up this grand experiment on self-governance, we might be able to keep what we have left of it at least, right? Because we've lost a lot of it, but we still could get a lot worse. And it's hard. And I know a lot of you guys, as they say, you've taken the black pill, you're black-pilled. And I do understand that. And I'm not blaming you for thinking that way, but just keep in mind, things still can get worse, okay? Do we have a republic as it was designed and intended to be back in 1776? No, I actually don't think so. And I think the founding fathers were already getting frustrated very quickly after this country was formed, that they could already see it starting to get diluted down. And they already saw power starting to centralize a little bit too much. And I'm going to read something from Thomas Jefferson in just a few minutes that confirms that that's what they worried about. But they also gave us words of encouragement that you always have to keep fighting. And that's truly what I believe. Now, you can call it freedom, right? Versus tyranny. Yeah, and that is what it is. You can call it, now don't call it Republicans versus Democrats. I mean, kind of, sort of, but really, no, I've said this a million times. These are really just two sides of the same evil coin. And one might be a little less evil, and one doesn't want to take your guns quite as much, but the other one wants to take all of them. I mean, just look at recent history, just to be fair. The one took the bump stocks, and the other one's going after the 80%ers. Now, this current former vice president will probably try to even go for more than that. Okay, so we're back to that again, less worse. But really, it's all about whether it's going to be a tyrannical, oppressive government where you're so afraid of your government, right? Because when people fear the government, there's tyranny. But when the government fears the people, there's liberty. And then in the end, I've said this a bunch lately too, and I truly mean it. It's really just a battle of good versus evil. And in my opinion, this Declaration of Independence and our Constitution and our Bill of Rights, those are good documents. And there were a lot of evil countries out before this country, during this country, and no doubt after this country, because it's not going to last forever. It's up to you guys how long you want it to last, right? It's up to all of us. Let's see. Interpol, yeah. They're also now giving your information, right, Alden Davis? Another story that John Crump broke on AmmoLand. You do a background check, which is unconstitutional, and there's reasons why it's unconstitutional, and I think we're starting to see that now, aren't we? And now Interpol, the International Policing Organization, yeah, they could have access to your personal information. Covered that in a video recently too. AmmoLand. Wow, literally crazy stuff, right? Now, when Franklin said a republic, if you can keep it, right? And like I was saying earlier, I kind of got off topic, which I normally do. I don't think you guys mind it, do you? And if you do, oh well. I get off topic. I don't have a script. We were talking about how it doesn't say you have the right to a horse and buggy, okay? But of course you do, because we have right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But it's not limited to that. It's literally including those, right? We have the right to basically everything, in my opinion, unless we're treading on someone else's rights. Now, you don't have the right to, if it makes you happy, to murder someone, which there's sick people out there that it does make them happy. You don't have the right to do that. You don't have the right to harm others, because then all of a sudden you're taking away their life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And the only reason, and that's literally what the founding documents say, the only reason the government was even put in place was to preserve people's life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It said among these. So those and many other very important and treasured rights. That's why the government was literally put there. But no, nowadays, more cars kill people than guns. Of course they do. But they say there's too many guns in this country. They want to surveil you. The former vice president says he wants to take them from you. He literally said, and I'm getting so tired of people saying that he never said that. No, he literally said it. I did a video on this channel. You can just search for it. Or if you're elected, they said, or I guess what they really meant to say is, or installed otherwise, or by whatever means. If you were to whatever, I'll just leave it at that, because it gets really complicated and I'm not allowed to say a lot of things on this venue that we're on right now. Are you coming after their guns? And he said, bingo. He literally said that. And now, people are asking me, when are they going to get rid of this? When are they going to get rid of that? Well, they're going to declare that the plebes aren't allowed to have a lot of these things very soon. When are they going to take them? Well, that's up to you. And that's a very personal choice all of you are going to have to make, isn't it? And we could have more elaborate conversations about this stuff, probably in another place, and I hope we all get to eventually. But right now, I'll just say this. It's a very personal decision, and y'all all have to decide on your own, whether they're going to get yours or not, or when they will, or how they will, or however that would work. And I think you're all smart people, and you'll decide for yourselves on that. Literally, if they say, is he going to come for my guns? Well, yeah, he's coming. Is he going to take them? Well, that's actually something you have to answer for yourself, isn't it? Now, this is one that I really like, and I read it a while ago, but I think I'm going to read it again because it's pretty good. Now, Thomas Jefferson, obviously one of the founding fathers, right? One of our very first couple presidents. And he was very influential on getting this grand experiment on self-governance, this republic, if we can keep it, getting it off the ground, wasn't he? Well, I just said a few minutes ago that it wasn't very long after this government had formed that they were already starting to notice, like, hey, look, people are starting to get a little bit tyrannical, and they're kind of surprised. He was really surprised, Thomas Jefferson was, that people were actually putting up with the crap the government was already trying to pull. Now, this was literally like after the Revolutionary War, right? But before they were actually getting ready to print and finalize the very first Constitution. So in the very short amount of time from we won the war to now we're going to form a Constitution, he already saw them starting to stray away a little bit from that Declaration of Independence, right? Scott says, I don't even own a Taurus, but apparently I need to shoot one. You probably should, actually. I love those little pistols, man. Bring some by Sunday so I can bust a few. Dude, I would love to meet up with you soon, man. And I will. Right now, I'm like super crunch time with work, working all day, even on the weekends. But a few of us need to get together soon that live around here, man. Trust me. But in the meantime, yeah, you're going to want to shoot them. They're really nice. Uh-oh, Linda. What's Linda's name? Hold on before I'm going to read you guys a letter that Thomas Jefferson wrote in 1787. What's happening, Linda? Linda, Sleepy Joe, gotta go. Yep. Last week, you were wanting to get rid of Whitmer, weren't you? Jeez, oh, Pete's. Man. Denny's plant-based journey. What's up, Denny? How you doing? So in 1787, Thomas Jefferson wrote a letter to William Stephen Smith, the son-in-law of John Adams. This is a famous letter where Thomas Jefferson used the phrase tree of liberty. Do you guys like this one? I kind of do. So we're going to go through it here. He says, I do not know whether it is to you yourself or Mr. Adams I am to give my thanks for the copy of the new Constitution. I beg leave through you to place them where due. It will be yet 3 weeks before I shall receive them from America. So he hadn't actually seen the printing of the Constitution yet. There are very good articles in it and very bad. I do not know which preponderate, which we have lately read in the history of Holland in the chapter on stadtholder, would have sufficed to set me against a chief magistrate eligible for a long duration, if I had ever been disposed towards one. And what we have always read of the elections of Polish kings should have forever excluded the idea of one continuable for life. He's talking about like magistrates, these judges that are appointed for life. And that's something we should think about too. Literally, these people can get into one of the three branches of government and they're there for their whole entire life. Does that sound like the consent of the governed to you guys? I don't know. And there is different arguments on this, but that's what he's literally warning about in this letter, in my opinion. A chief magistrate eligible for a long duration, if I had ever been disposed towards one. And what we have already read in the elections of Polish kings, so he's talking about kings, people that have forever reign, right? Like Franklin said, we're not supposed to be a monarchy, a republic. Then why do we have these judges and justices that are there for their whole life, which is exactly what a king does? And he was thinking about this in 1787, and I'm thinking about it right now. So forever exclude the idea of one continuable for life. Wonderful is the effect of impudent and persevering lying. Persevering lying. That's what he said, right? The British ministry have so long hired their gazetteers to repeat and model into every form lies about our being in anarchy, and the world has at length believed them. The English nation has believed them. The ministers themselves have come to believe them. And what is more wonderful, we have believed them ourselves. And we believe a lot of things in this country right now, if you guys think about it. There's a lot of propaganda, and a lot of it they've been doing for a very long time. Yet, where does this anarchy exist? Where did it ever exist? Except in the single instance of Massachusetts? And can history produce an instance of a rebellion so honorably conducted? I say nothing of its motives. They were founded in ignorance, not wickedness. God forbid we should ever be 20 years without such a rebellion. He was saying if we went 20 years without a rebellion, God forbid it. Just think about that. This was written, what, 240 years ago, 230 years ago he wrote this? It's crazy if you think about it. The people cannot at all and always well informed. Cannot be all and always well informed. And I would say we're very ill-informed right now. That's why I'm talking about this stuff, guys. The part which is wrong will be discontented in proportion to the importance of the facts they misconceive. If they remain quiet under such misconceptions, it is lethargy. Yeah, it is. Laziness, the forerunner of death to the public liberty. Laziness is the forerunner of death to the public liberty. That's what he said. We have had 13 states independent 11 years. 1787, 1776. We have had 13 states independent 11 years. There has been one rebellion. That comes to one rebellion in a century and a half for each state. What country before ever existed a century and a half without a rebellion? And what country can preserve its liberties if their rulers are not warned from time to time that their people preserve the spirit of resistance. Listen to this. Let them take arms. The remedy is to set them right as the facts, pardon and pacify them. What signify a few lives lost in a century or two? The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. It is its natural manure. That's literally what he said 11 years after the Revolutionary War was fought. Our convention has been too much impressed by the insurrection of Massachusetts, and in the spur of the moment, they are setting up a kite to keep the hen yard in order. I hope in God this article will be rectified before the new Constitution is accepted. 1787. I think there's a lot of wisdom in there. I don't know about you guys. Everyone hears something a different way, and I'm certainly not the smartest one here, but I think a lot of this is very applicable to literally right now. Right now. Mr. C, how's it going, man? Thanks for the super chat. He says they're only getting my guns from my cold, dead hands. I wish all of you well. Like I said, the former vice president says, I'm coming to take him. Well, you guys will decide what you need to do, won't you? Personal decision. Some people are all too willing just to, here, take him. Take him. And I know a buddy of mine that's hiding his in the cellar. I think there'll be a lot of people like that, right? What do you guys think? Matt Roman with the super chat for the channel. Well, thanks a lot, man. Thank you. And I am going to be reading this again tomorrow, tonight, over the weekend, whenever. And if there's suggestions, let me know, guys. I try my best. I've often done videos literally because one person left a comment. So I do read all of them. Now, I can't do everything everyone wants, but I try. I try my best. Oh, you guys are still talking about Tauruses. Yeah. When I ask if you guys like the Tauruses or not, there's going to be quite a few people in here that like them. And there might be one person that doesn't, but that's fine. That's fine. They can still be our friend, right? Maybe a little bit. I don't know. Susan Wiki's still here. Can you guys believe that? I tried to put up a holster video, but it had that magical thing that you put on top of the slide on the Taurus G3C Toro. I had to tweak it and like mess with it 3 times before it was considered worthy. And I used to buy her flowers, guys. I used to send her flowers before the stream, and I said, You're a real beauty in a different kind of way. Now that's not a compliment. However, I'll still buy you flowers with the extra long thorns on them. And that still wasn't enough. They messed with my holster video this last week. Crazy stuff if you think about it. I love Hemi with a super sticker. Let me go open this other one up and see what it is. How you doing, by the way? Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. Yeah, they like to sit here with these chats, and they even mess with the chat on here, don't they? If you guys forgot, by the way, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. It literally costs you nothing. And if you're on your phone, you just have to hit X on the chat real quick. Hit the thumbs up, and then you can open the chat right back up. They cover it up. And it ticks off Susan Wiki, and it's just a little way we can get back to her for messing with holster videos. Like, really? Yeah. All right. Thank you. I love Hemi. He's got the one that's doing the thank you. These super sticker emojis are kind of funny. I try to imitate them. Let's see here. I'll try to imitate the one he put up there. Let me see here. I think I did it. I think I pulled it off. What do you guys think? I don't know. Don't answer me. If I pulled it off, you can answer me. If I didn't, then don't answer me. Brastard762. What's happening, man? Yeah, you're right. Actually, 13's a good number, he says. 13 colonies. That's a good thing. 13 round high power mag. Nice. But did you know, when the former vice president, he was asked, I think it was on CNN, are you coming after the guns? And he said, bingo, if it's an assault weapon. Do you guys realize that your Browning high power is considered an assault weapon? Yeah. He doesn't know where he is, guys. Literally, he doesn't know where he is. You guys have seen him before. He's like sitting there, where am I? He's blowing side to side. Right? Oh, yeah. But he comes into focus just in time. He comes into focus. I think what happens is right before he gets on stage, right? I'm Joe Biden. I'm going to beat Joe Biden. I will shoot an anomaly to the pressure. And I'm going to take your ghost guns. Bingo, if it's an assault weapon. And then 2 minutes later, where am I? He says, this is my wife. This is my sister. Whoa. What's that? Where am I? Oh, they switched. This is my wife. This is my sister. Yeah. Shubin and Amada did a bit of pressure. But at the same time, the ATF says they're coming after your ghost gun, they call it. They're coming after your 80%, which is not a firearm. And ghost gun is just there to scare you. It is. It's all fear tactics. It's actually almost exactly the same as what Thomas Jefferson was talking about in the 1700s when he was talking about the gazetteers. The British ministry have so long hired their gazetteers to repeat and model into every form lies. And this former vice president and all of them, they're doing nothing but propagating lies. And the mainstream media, that's their gazetteers. And big social media and big tech, that's also their gazetteers, isn't it? Gazette, gazetteers, right? Yeah. Nothing's really changed. The only thing that seems to be changing is that it's really staying the same. Now, at that time, they wrote it in the Gazette. Now, you get your video shadow banned and have to work hours on it when you're trying to show a holster with a little thing that goes on the top of the slide. Yeah. I don't know. Pizzazi Morano, thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. He says it's crazy how an AR-15 is dangerous, but the 300 PRC bolt gun that shoots a quarter MOA and can hit a milk jug at a mile is not. LMAO. Yeah, it is crazy, isn't it? And I'm getting sick and tired of it because it's not only crazy, and I know you're laughing in the sarcastic way, right? But it's a frustrating laugh. Like, really? And then you look at it and you kind of want to laugh, but you can't laugh. Like, it would be funny if it wasn't so serious, right? And if it wasn't such a travesty, right? Because literally when they say stuff like that to us, like the AR-15, you can't use it to shoot deer because it's such a big bullet and it's so dangerous, there wouldn't be any deer left. That's literally what the fake news propagates. And they're lying to you. And it's very insulting, and you should be insulted about it. Because to believe it, it requires the listener to be much dumber than the speaker. And the speakers are semi-retarded, in my opinion. Yeah. And they'll literally keep propagating things. The AR-15, it's the most dangerous thing ever. Oh, really? Then why do you want to get rid of them? Who cares how dangerous they are? Right? We're good people. We just want to be left alone. Seriously, answer me, guys. You don't have to in the chat, but at least in your own head, just think about it. What do you really want in life? Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. Maybe some good friends, maybe a few people you love and that love you. Likewise. Other than that, many different religions out there, and I respect that everyone has the freedom to choose one, but whatever it is that you worship, your God, the divine entity that you believe created you, right? Yeah. If you have that, if you have just a couple friends, family members, and life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, there's nothing more that you would need. You just want to be left alone, right? You don't want to hurt anybody. And you never would want to hurt anybody, would you? Unless, of course, because it says in the Declaration, it is your right, it is your duty when the government becomes that tyrannical. The only way you would ever want to do harm to someone is if you had to defend yourself, defend your life, defend your country from tyranny that's trying to suppress your life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So you must conclude with all of that I just said. They must have something really awful and nasty and oppressive planned for you. The fact that they're even halfway worried that in 1,000,000 years that the nicest, most peaceful people ever would even think about taking up arms against their own government. We don't want to do that, do we? Why would you want to do that unless or until they're giving you just cause and giving you reasons to want to? And that's what the Declaration of Independence is. They said why. It has the why there, the what, and then it provides a framework for what they thought this republic should be. Now, is it perfect? No. The Founding Fathers aren't perfect. But that's why they left it, that your rights are endowed by your Creator. And that the government would only be there at the consent of the governed, right? And it's not 1787. Thomas Jefferson was warning you about the lies that were being propagated by the gazetteers, wasn't he? And that's why we need to still remember this stuff today, and we still need to read it. TPC with the super chat. 314. That's a good Bible verse. I think that's what or 316. I'm sorry. Hold on. Susan's messing with my chat here. It just skipped. There it is. Give old baby blue. Oh, man. He's messing with my blue shirt. I tried to read this, and he made me laugh. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Give old baby blue boy a thumbs up. My baby blue shirt. Come on. Look, you guys can see me in any style. UV, cool, dry shirt that you want, right? As long as it's in baby blue or it's in gray. Other than that, any color you want, right? Now, this was a special occasion tonight. I put on the blue one. I have more gray than I do blue, believe it or not. There's probably about 10 gray ones and about 4 or 5 of the baby blue. So you guys should feel very lucky that I dressed up. So nice for you tonight, right? Now, I heard a lot of you guys say this lately, and I understand why you're saying it. And this is something else for you to think about. You say, well, hold on. This government's gotten so corrupted. Why do we need any government at all? And Thomas Jefferson was talking about that a little bit, right? Because the Brits at the time were saying that the United States was in chaos, that we were in anarchy. That's what it says in that letter I just read. The famous Tree of Liberty letter, right? Well, they do actually talk about these concepts of whether we needed a government whatsoever, right? And like I said earlier, in my opinion, what they finally decided on is, yes, we needed a government, but the government always had to be checked and highly regulated and controlled by the people. That it was only allowed to be there for the consent of the governed, right? And then if it ever were to become contrary to our God-given rights, our laws of nature, nature's God, however you want to word it, right? That it was our right and it was our duty to abolish it. And they put all that in there for a reason, because they were very leery that any form of government whatsoever would ultimately become tyrannical. And in fact, they knew that it would become tyrannical, didn't they? And that's why they warned people about it. And that's why they took certain rights that were given to people by their creator, and they enumerated them and put them in the Bill of Rights. Because at first, they weren't going to write all those down, actually. There was a debates back and forth. There were a bunch of them, and they finally debated it out and decided on 10. Well, certain people back then at the founding said, we don't need to put in there the right to keep and bear arms. Of course you'll have that right. And they said, no, actually we do, because the Brits were trying to take our arms away, right? Now, they were actually British subjects at that time, but the colonists, they were trying to take their arms away, weren't they? And they knew that. So they put those in there. Now, back to what I was saying. Do we need any government at all? I don't know. You know, I'm not smart enough. I wouldn't have been smart enough to know how to found this country, okay? And I don't know that they were particularly smart enough either. However, by them just having a lot of faith that, you know, these were immoral people and that they would get their inspiration from God, in my opinion, they put together a very good basis. Not perfect, but probably one of the best experiments on self-governance the world's ever seen. But do we need a government at all? I don't know. I would say yes. But before you guys say, hold on a minute. No, it doesn't mean we should have what we have right now. And I do believe in rule of law, but not right now either, because if it becomes illegal, right? If it becomes outlawed to own guns, then only outlaws will own guns. And I don't think that makes you a bad person if you violate that type of law. And it's gone so crazy. However, rule of law, the Constitution itself. Yep, that's supposed to be the law of the land. The Bill of Rights, which don't give the government any power at all, they're actually prohibitions on the government, reminding the government that these are the rights of the people, shall not be infringed, right? Shall make no law against, you know, that they can't quarter soldiers, that even though they listed a whole bunch of rights, that those aren't to be construed to the only rights you have, right? That you still have many, many, many more rights. They just only listed like 9 of them, because the 9th Amendment, that's what that says, right? So, rule of law, the Constitution itself, okay? The Bill of Rights, the Declaration, that's a really good document. And I think the closer the government would live by that or function under that, I don't think we'd even have to be talking about this right now. And then I would also say the 10 Commandments, because even if you're not of the Christian God, and that's a personal choice for all of you, okay? I think most people would agree with most of the principles in there at the very least. So there you go. Rule of law. Those can be the law of the land. And I think that's really all the laws we need, in my opinion. Now, we're looking at the Federalist Paper 51, and this was written by either Alexander Hamilton or James Madison, because they both wrote, and it's hard to tell which one actually wrote every word, but this is Hamilton or Madison, right? And they actually talk about this. Should we have a government at all, like whatsoever? And I get it, I really do, but just think about it, guys. Some of you are right now in the chat probably saying, no, we should have zero government. And I do actually understand why you guys are saying that, except for the fact that what would happen if people try to tread on other people's rights? And if the government was literally, you guys have to remember when this was written, okay, at these times, that was when the government was instituted amongst men, and it was only there to preserve your natural rights. So there's a bunch here. There's a lot to this. I'm just going to read a small excerpt because these Federalist papers are literally huge. But you can buy the Federalist, Anti-Federalist papers. There's two different, opposing views, if you will, of the way this country should run. Now, these guys were talking about why we might need a federal government, okay? And, let me know what you guys think. It says, the interest of the man must be connected with the constitutional rights of the place. It may be a reflection on human nature that such devices should be necessary to control the abuses of government. But what if government itself, the greatest of all reflections on human nature? If men were angels, no government would be necessary. I agree with that, don't you guys? If people are literally perfect, if men were angels, no government would be necessary. But then it says, if angels were to govern men, neither external nor internal controls on government would be necessary. Think about what both of those mean. And I encourage you guys to think about this, because nobody talks about this stuff anymore. I don't mean like literally nobody, but not many people do. So if men were angels, we wouldn't need a government at all. I agree with that, but we're not. But as men are not angels, the government was supposed to be put there to prevent other evil, tyrannical people from treading on your natural, God-given rights. Just my opinion, but I agree with that. Literally, I do. Now, here's the important part that we really need to think about. If angels were to govern men, so that means your government are angels. If your government was perfect, we wouldn't need any external or internal controls on government. Well, as we know, the government certainly are not angels, are they? Probably about the opposite. As far on the opposite extreme as you could possibly go. But do we have the controls on them? So this is what's happened, in my opinion. We have it where, okay, there's the people. If the people had no government at all, then people would just run rogue and tread on each other's rights, and there wouldn't be any government to protect your rights. I think in that limited form, rule of law, constitution, like literally the actual founding documents, that's the rule of law, right? So I think that we definitely got a big government, realizing men are not angels. However, I think this part's been ignored for almost since the beginning of this country. Like literally, Jefferson was already complaining about it in 1787, for example. And I think we have about 100 million times more to complain about now than we did then. But if angels were to govern men, neither external nor internal controls on government would be necessary. I think that's the part that we've all ignored for a long time. Now, when I say we, I mean like we the people. Some of the we are alive right now, and we're enjoying the stream together, but there's a lot of we, the people, that have passed on, and maybe some of them did their best, maybe some of them didn't, right? There's all kinds of people out there. However, I don't see any type of internal or external controls on the government, hardly at all, like literally barely any. I think that's a big problem, because you're supposed to look at this in a reciprocal fashion. Like, if men were angels, we wouldn't need government at all, right? Okay, but they're not. So therefore, we need some form of limited government. Okay, but if the government was angels, we wouldn't need any constraints on them or controls on them. But as we know, they're not angels either. Think about it. You can't have this. See, here's the problem with this. Here's the problem. This was all forum that we would have like a moral type people that were running this country. And if they weren't, that's where these controls needed to be exercised. It says, in framing a government, which is to be administered by men over men, the great difficulty lies in this. You must first enable the government to control the governed, and in the next place, obligate it to control itself. A dependence on the people is, no doubt, the primary control on the government. Saying, well, they need us too much to get rid of us, right? But, and there's a big but here, but experience has taught mankind the necessity of auxiliary precautions. And I think that's it. I think right there, like literally in psychic fashion, because they had seen this happen in the past. That's why they knew it was going to happen again. Because if we don't learn from history, it's always doomed to repeat itself, isn't it? So I think for years, for decades, for centuries now, people in America have sat back too much and said the government can't do anything to us. They need us too much. And yeah, in this Federalist paper, they do say a dependence on the people is no doubt the primary control on the government. But they didn't just put a period there. Semicolon. But experience has taught mankind the necessity of auxiliary precautions. It's all here. A lot of people have probably read this every day for the past 200 and something years, but I don't think many have. I think almost nobody has. Why is it that of all of the things that we would do to rate our government, 99.999% of them suck? Probably because almost nobody's been reading this. I think we all should, and I'm hoping to encourage all of you because it's all been predicted. It all makes a lot of sense to me. We can disagree on many things, but here's the problem. Everybody pretty much says the government sucks, even if we disagree on every single issue there is, right? It's kind of crazy, isn't it? Lil Rob 2030 with the super chat. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. He says, just like a couple days ago, when the former vice president said that we the people means you and I the government, he must be outside his mind to even think that. Look, I think there's two separate issues going on. I think he's outside of his mind, no doubt. Outside of his mind, yeah. But I think he is tyrannical enough to think that. And I think he's always thought that. And I think most of them think that, unfortunately. That's why. Let me pull this back. I should stop setting these aside because, right? But experience has taught mankind the necessity of auxiliary precautions. What's auxiliary precautions mean? Let me know what that means to you guys down there in the chat. They said we should have the necessity of auxiliary precautions. How disgusting. How disgusting. You guys read that? What he's typing there? Isn't that insane? That somebody would even say this former vice president means you and I the government. We the people means you and I the government. It's definitely disgusting. And look, I'm not trying to make you guys angry. I don't want you to be angry. But if you are angry when you hear these people say this stuff, I think that's okay. I think you should be angry about that, right? We can do two things. We can be happy people. I'm happy to be with you guys right now, but I'm still angry about a lot of things. And I think more of us should be. TPC, because people buy into politician BS and refuse to realize everyone in politics is a corrupt authoritarian. Well, most of the time, when you get on the local level, I think sometimes there's people that are still fighting the good fight. I believe that. Once you get to certain points, yeah, I mean, whew. Look, I think people have literally just ignored, right? Literally ignored, where they don't even know what's going on in their local communities. Is that being into politics, going to your local school board meeting? I don't know, but they are publicly elected people. And I think they should have to answer to the will of all of the parents in that community where that local school district is, for example. Yeah. I think literally, the 10th Amendment that gives more power to the states than the federal government, state representatives and whatnot, tons of corrupt ones. There might be a few out there that are trying to make a change, but I think if we generalize, sure. In generalities, yeah, I think they're Most of them are pretty corrupt, if not almost all of them. Denny's Plant-Based Journey with a super chat and a channel member. Thanks for helping out the channel, man. I appreciate it. He says, if the master of the house had known what hour the thief would come, he would have watched and not allowed his house to be broken into. Exactly. Yeah, it's true. But here's the crazy part, man. People, they literally warned about all this stuff, though. Now they're not going to give the exact time and the exact place. But I think it was supposed to be our duty and obligation as Americans right now, and also from like 1776 forward, including now, and all those 2.5 centuries in between. We were supposed to be watching out for that thief every single day, right? Now I get it. We've had lots of good times in this country, so people thought, and people measure good times many different ways. A lot of people say, well, if they've got tons of money, it's a good time, right? Now, other people say the love for money is the root of all evil too, don't they? But in general, whether they're truly good times or just perceived to be good times, I think you guys know what I mean. Good times make weak men. And for a long time, people perceived everything to just be so great in this country. They all had their 9 to 5. They had his or hers new car, a house on a little piece of land, and the government allowed them to kind of do what they wanted to, as long as they didn't do too much, though. You know, people say, well, that's good enough. I mean, I'd like to have more liberties. I'd like to be able to do more in my life. But hey, hold on a minute. I don't want to risk losing these few little things they've been allowing me to have. So I'll just sit tight and sit pretty. And I think people did that for a long time. Well, good times make weak men. They do. And then weak men make bad times. And I think that's why we're in such bad times right now. Now, if you want to look on the hopeful side of things, you could say, well, hold on, though. Bad times, right, are going to take those weak men and toughen them up and make them tough again and get some fight back in them. And then these weak men will become strong, and these strong men will fight off evil, fight off the bad times, and create good times again. And let a generation or so enjoy it until they start to get weak again. I think there's something to that. I just hope there's enough left in this country. I hope there's enough left where we still have time to turn the cycle around. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Oh, Barry Barnes. I have no idea what you're talking about. It must have been an inside joke that I didn't get. Sometimes you guys get talking to each other and I have no idea. Blue Girl and NC, what's happening? Nice to see you. Thank you. Thanks for hanging out tonight. She says, and the best intentions pave the way to hell. Yeah, pretty much, right? Yeah. Red, what's happening, Red? Thanks for supporting the channel, man. He says, yeah, I'll have hope when people stop abiding to their own destruction. Abiding, yeah, they are, aren't they? Right now, I'm just watching people welcome tyranny with open arms. A lot of people do, don't they? I agree. Lance Webb, everyone stay 2A strong. I agree, man. Thanks for the encouragement. Joel R., what's happening, man? Nice to see you. Nice to see all of you guys. I hope you're doing good. Like, for real. Scott Plagueman, what's happening? When your time's up, all bets are off. Yeah. You guys are talking about whether it's somebody's time or not. You guys have such good conversations in here. I look away from the screen a little bit, and you guys lose me in your dust, but that's all right. I'll catch up eventually. I'm a little slower than you guys, but I'll catch up. Jacobus Prinsloo, thanks for supporting the channel, man. What's up? He says, good morning, everyone. Morning? It's 11 o'clock at night, except for that he's halfway around the world. Is it morning where you're at, dude? That's crazy. That's awesome, man. South Africa. South Africa. Very fine people. We don't want to be like other countries, but like I've said a million times, I want this to be America. But there's many very fine people that live in these other countries. And time again, they warn us. Don't let it happen, guys. Don't let it happen. Because if you do, it's done. Literally, the rest of the world's like, they get rid of America, it's done. We're not going to get it back for 100 years. Some people even say 1,000 years, right? I agree with that. Paul asks, what's happening, man? He said, talking about Kentucky ballistics. All right, cool. What's happening, Paul? How you doing, man? Chris Plummer, what's up, dude? Thanks for supporting the channel. He's a channel member. I appreciate it, man. Texas Outlaw, there he is. There's a good dude. How you doing, buddy? How you doing, man? I hope you're good. Yeah. Yeah, he says world's coming to an end, man. But at every end, there's also a beginning. Howdy, brother. Yeah, man, that's what I'm trying to say. There's a lot going on right now. And when I listened to that speech the other day, did you guys listen to it? Okay, if I closed my eyes and it was somebody that could speak a little more fluidly, because I could hear is just this droning, monotone, fumbling and mumbling. Like, look, it's a joke. Like, literally watching this is a joke. But you can't laugh at it because the joke's kind of on us. We're literally to the point where someone, every time they'd make a stop, they didn't know what city they were in, did they? They got their wife and their sister and their daughter mixed up. That's pretty scary in and of itself. And they sit there and they drone on and on. And they give a speech of over an hour that's filled, laden with tyrannical talk. Literally, if they could have spoken 100 times more eloquently, and I had had my eyes closed, I would have thought I was listening to the premier of a communist country. Someone that literally can't even finish sentences, but somehow mumbles and stumbles their way through telling them that this country's over. I get it. It does suck. But like he's saying, with everything coming to an end, it does make a new beginning. Crazy stuff. Like, literally, I listened to this and I'm like, hold on a minute. Is this like a joke? No, it's not a joke. Can't even speak a sentence. Can't even speak. What many people say, I mean, look, people call him many things. Many things. I call him the former vice president, okay? Amongst many other things, but this is a family-friendly show, okay? I hope you guys get what I'm saying here. Many people say this is the leader of the free world. Can't even finish an articulate and coherent sentence. Wow. Peter Grigley with the super chat. Thanks a lot, man. Look at all those nice bees on there. That's a pretty big honeycomb, dude. Thanks for the super chat, man. He says, F big government. Yep, left wants control and disguise it as protection. Oh, they do, don't they? You got that right, man. They know what's best. Yeah. The former vice president knows what's best. Freaking dude can't even walk up the stairs. I hope his Secret Service gives up their guns when they take the 2A away. Yeah, you would hope so, wouldn't you? Huh. Can't even walk? Can't even speak a sentence? What is it? I always mess it up because it's not, I mean, I guess apparently it's a word. Apparently you have to become a United States Senator. Look at these people. They're senators for 50 years. For 50 years. They've accomplished nothing but tyranny. They've accomplished nothing good at all. Like, literally, not even once. And they get up there. What's your plan, sir? What's your plan to... He was asked once. Do you guys remember this? They said, sir, what's your plan to preserve this great republic? What's your plan, sir, to preserve the greatest experiment on self-governance of all time? Sir. Huh? Shubidanometer pressure. Yeah. Literally. Welcome to 2020, 2021. I seriously want to laugh right now, guys. And I really do want to laugh, but I don't really think. I don't know, man. I don't think I should laugh at this. It's a little bit too serious to laugh at. What's up, Frank Hunt? How you doing, man? Never forget the 3%. The rest sat on their hands. That's true. That's true. I wonder today, what do you guys think? Let me know in the chat there. I'm sure you guys have already been talking about this, but 3%. That's kind of a lot, actually. How many people even talk about this stuff? And even, do we have 3%? Do we have 1%? Do we have 3/1000ths%? I don't know. Don't tell me it's 3/1. Wait, hold on. Let me say it again. 3/100,000ths%. Don't tell me it's that, guys, because I need a little bit of encouragement to keep coming back and and doing these shows. I hope it's more than that. I hope it's more than that. Oh, man. I talked about FUDs a little bit before. Do you guys remember that last week? I think the week before, too. And it always ticks people off, and I guess that's fine, whatever. If they want to be mad at me. I prefer they're not, but A lot of people just sit there and they're like, oh, I'm with you, blah, 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 except for this or but that. Anytime there's an except or but, no, it's the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And it literally says it very clearly. And here's just my opinion. If you literally look at the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, and you say that only means one thing, because that's literally what it says, shall not be infringed, then yeah. If you throw any buts or but this, but that, but maybe, sometimes, no. And it's frustrating because those people that sit there, first of all, a lot of them just lie, like literally lie. They're anti-gun, but they'll say, no, I'm pro-gun, but you shouldn't have an 80%, or you shouldn't have a ghost gun. Or they'll even say stuff like, but you should have to have training. You should have to pay a permit to the government. The government should have to find out, tell you whether you're deemed worthy to have a permit to carry a firearm. No, I'm getting tired of all that, and I'm rejecting all of that. And I encourage all of you to reject that too. Because again, people are going to be tyrants amongst people. The government knew that. That's literally what we're talking about in Federalist number 51. If men were angels, we wouldn't need a government at all. But there's all these petty tyrants running around, and they're amongst you right now. And they're probably going to be here hitting thumbs downs on the stream. So make sure you guys give me a thumbs up. But they're going to leave me comments because they always do, and they're going to tell me this and that, whatever. No. There's a bunch of these little petty tyrants running around that do want to deprive you of your life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. And the government's supposed to be there to protect these rights. That's why the government's supposed to be there. And we've got two big problems right now. Instead of being protectors of our God-given rights, the governments are the main offenders. They're the main ones trying to deprive us of our rights. And that's not to mention, and we shouldn't take these people lightly, because they're also a huge problem. There's all the regular people amongst us that want to deprive you of your rights too. We can talk about the government all day long, but let me tell you what, if 100% of the people in this country, if 100% of them all believed, okay, if they all believed that we're endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, that amongst these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and if 100% of the people felt the Second Amendment said what it actually says, shall not be infringed, there's no way the government could do anything. So there's tons of tyrants right amongst us right now. Just regular old people that don't hold any political office whatsoever. Are they persuaded by money? I don't know. Are they tempted by evil? I don't know. Probably both, all of the above. Everyone's a little bit different, but yeah. Now, is this a new thing? Do you guys think it's a new thing that just now in the year 2021 that they just started having people that wanted to, support this big government? People that weren't willing to fight off the oppressors in the tyrannical government. Is that anything new? Were there people that wanted to be jackboots over their fellow people? I don't think it's anything new. I think those people have always existed. And I've got some quotes here from Samuel Adams that have to do with like our rights, freedom. And one of them reminded me a lot of FUDs, to be quite blunt. And I think this explains why a lot of people out there, why we're in the situation we're in, and why a lot of people out there act the way they do and empower this government, encourage this government to act the way that it does. This is Samuel Adams. He said, if ye love wealth better than liberty, the tranquility of servitude, then the animating contest of freedom. So if you love wealth more than liberty, if you love this tranquil servitude more than the animating contest of freedom, go from us in peace. We ask not your counsel or arms. Crouch down and lick the hands that feed you. May your chains sit lightly upon you. And may posterity forget that ye were our countrymen. Yeah. And that's a pretty powerful quote. We always want to sit there and say we reject this sleepy old man, this former VP, whatever you want to call him. Well, I also reject, just as Samuel Adams did, if ye love wealth better than liberty, the tranquility of servitude, then the animating contest of freedom, go from us in peace. We ask not your counsels or arms. Look, I run into this every single day on this channel. And I don't know if you guys do all the time in your regular everyday lives, but people are like, yeah, you should only have a 1911. You should only have a double barrel shotgun. No one needs this. No one needs that. I'm like, dude, just get the heck away from me. You're the enemy. Get away from me. Go away. And I thought, man, is that me being a little harsh? No, I don't think so. And Samuel Adams obviously thought the same thing. And if it ever kicks off, right? Me and you were talking about that, right, Mateo? If it ever kicks off, the FUD that said all you should be able to have is your double barrel whatever. Remember our conversation with that? We asked not your counsels or arms. I don't care. Take your double barrel shotgun and go home. You're not going to fight with me. You're not one of us. Crouch down and lick the hands that which feed you. This is what Samuel Adams said. May your chains sit lightly upon you. And may posterity forget that ye were our countrymen. It's true. And the way I hear a lot of these people talk right now, running around, I think this is also applicable to literally right now in 2021. And then he goes on to say, shame on the men who can court exemption from present trouble and expense at the price of their own posterity's liberty. Yeah. They spoke a little bit different back then. It takes a second for it to sink in, but shame on people, right? Who court the exemption from present trouble at the expense. So basically, I don't want to get in trouble right now. That's what a lot of people are saying. You know how many people that are into guns somewhat, or they wouldn't be watching my videos, they'll say, what date is it that we're going to have to turn in our 15-round Taurus G3 magazine? I get these comments every day, guys. How much longer till I have to turn it in? And then people are like, man, do you know anywhere where we can find 10-round magazines? I'll ask them. I don't know. They're hard to find, but if you live in one of the banned states, you know, usually they'll have a separate option that they'll ship to you. This person responded back, and they said, no, I live in Texas. And it was actually interesting because most Texans don't talk like this, but this person did. They said, no, I live in Texas. And I responded back, well, why would you be wanting 10-round mags for your grip frame that holds 15? He said, because they're going to ban the 10-round. They're going to ban the 15-round mag soon. That's what they believed. And all I'm going to be allowed to have is 10s. So I want to buy them right now and have a stockpile of them because I want to have more reloads so I can fight the good fight. You know what I thought when I read that? Probably a very nice person, you know. I thought, man, may your chains sit lightly upon you. You know what I mean? And forget that ye were our countrymen. Because you know what I've been getting more comments on lately? Instead of people saying, hey, man, what can we do about this? They're saying, where can I find 10-round magazines? Because they've already acquiesced, and they're looking forward to those chains. So since I'm a nice person, I don't want their chains to cause them too much comfort. So may their chains sit lightly upon them. That's seriously my opinion on that. And there's some people that aren't going to like me anymore after I said that. But that's okay, though. That's okay. MaxShot62 with the super chat and a channel member. Thanks a lot, man. He's going to offer some encouragement. Well, thank you. He says, here's some encouragement. The Lord supports the humble, but he brings the wicked down into dust. Yep. Psalm 147:6. Hey, that is encouraging. Thank you, Max Shot. I appreciate it, man. Seriously. I appreciate it. Another super chat. You're killing me, man. Thanks for being so generous, dude. 30-6, he says. He's putting another FUD round in there for me. After they wrote the First Amendment, they thought we're going to need a gun to back this up, and they were right. I know. Look, I love the First Amendment, don't you guys? I do. I really like the Ninth Amendment. The Ninth Amendment's one of my favorite ones lately, but there's something about the Second Amendment. It's like, why'd they put it there? Well, probably because the second's there for when they try to tread on all the rest. Not if they do, but when they do. And they have done that. The Ninth Amendment, what do you guys think of that, by the way? I mean, I do like all of them. I mean, some are kind of a little more boring than others. I mean, I really like the Fourth and the Fifth and I love them all, okay? I'll cut to the chase. The Ninth Amendment, though, this is beautiful because people say, well, you don't have the right to... Lately, we've been dealing with this a lot in a lot of places for the last year. Like, where does it say that you have the right to breathe fresh air? That's what my friend, constitutional attorney Catherine Henry, she always says that kind of stuff in her streams. And I'm glad she does. People always ask her, because she's an attorney, and you don't need to be an attorney to understand this stuff, but people often do. They ask, where does it say I have the right to breathe fresh air? Well, first of all, it doesn't need to say that. They always talk about common sense. Well, let's use some common sense. Of course you have the right to breathe fresh air. Of course you have the right to defend yourself, your family, your country against all enemies, foreign and domestic, however you please. Obviously, that's what shall not be infringed means, right? Well, the Ninth Amendment, the enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. So there it is. No one talks about that amendment very much for some reason, but I think we should all start talking about it more, because you guys are going to run into your friends, and they're very fine people, I'm sure, but they might be struggling with things and like, well, hold on a minute. Where does it say I have the right to do this? Where does it say I have the right to do that? And some people, again, they might still be very nice people. I get that, you know. If you need to be mean to them, be mean to them. But don't just be mean for the sake of being mean. I don't think there's any purpose in that. But tell them however you see fit. Say, look, dude, first of all, you don't need anyone to tell you what your rights are. But if you need to read it, Ninth Amendment. Just because there's certain rights that are enumerated, meaning written down, that doesn't mean those are our only rights. So I think that's definitely some encouragement there. Where do we have the right? Can you imagine this? Some of you guys are a lot younger than me. Some of you might be older. Although I am, let's see here, in 47 minutes from now, I am going to be a year older. I'm getting older in 47 minutes, guys. I'm not joking. My birthday's seriously here in just a little bit. 48 minutes from now, I'm having a birthday. But can you guys remember a time, and I'm dating myself, I guess I'm going to enjoy my youth. I'm not having this birthday for another 45 minutes, but I remember a time where no one used to even question, like, excuse me, sir, Mr. Congressman. Mr. Congressman, do I have the right to breathe fresh air? Governor Gretchen Whitmer says I'm not allowed to breathe. Well, what do I have to do? Who do I have to sue? People will say. Of course you have the right to breathe. But we've literally gotten to the point now where they're like, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. None of these rights are absolute. Only things that are dictated to you, only things that are endowed by your controller, by your former vice president, your governor. In some cases, it's your city council member. When it comes to having to explain to a little girl whether she has the right to breathe or not, it actually comes from the local school boards in many instances, doesn't it? Huh. If people look, you shouldn't have to read it anywhere, but if people need to read something, look at the Ninth Amendment. It doesn't say we only have 10 rights and those are the only rights we have. No. Virtually everything is our rights. We have the right to basically do whatever we want up until it gets to that point where you exercising what you perceive as a right that treads on someone else's rights to freely exercise what they're trying to do, doesn't it? So that's my opinion. And there's certain debates back and forth. Some people would say, well, that means you should be able to do any drug you want. The next guy should be like, but hold on a minute, though, because if you do any drug you want, you could do something reckless and then hurt me because you're so inebriated. There's some debates that people can have in public discourse, but I'll tell you what, man, that's just called we're people. We're never going to agree on every single thing, are we? But when it's to the point now where it's like, oh, we might have 5 or 6 rights we can exercise in this whole country, but even those are parsed down and diluted down where you have to like, we can exercise little fringe nuances thereof. That's the problem that we have right now. And that's a huge, huge, huge problem. Even if the Second Amendment didn't exist, that's the part that I want to reiterate to you guys is encouragement. Even if the Second Amendment was never written, because I promise you, it's not always going to be there. I don't say that to scare you. I don't say that to ruin your night. It's not always going to be there. Trust me. It might be very soon. It might be a long time from now. One day that won't be there. But here's the beauty. It always existed before it was written down, before 1791 when they wrote the Bill of Rights. You have the right to keep and bear arms. And you still will after it's gone. So that's the scary part when people say, well, hold on. We have the right to keep and bear arms because that's our Second Amendment right. Well, hold on, though. The government wrote down the Second Amendment. Now, the government at that time when they wrote it down, they never said they gave it to you. But when people switch it nowadays and say, hey, look, your rights are granted to you by the Second Amendment, and nobody can tread on my Second Amendment right. Now, it's fine. I get it, guys. I'm not being pedantic with you. When you say R2A rights, I think I know what you mean, but we need to make that distinction, and I always try to make it here, and I've been making it here for a couple of years now on these Friday nights. No, the Second Amendment is a prohibition on government. It doesn't say anywhere in the Second Amendment, you have the right to keep and bear arms. It says the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, meaning the right. It existed, and they're just literally telling the government they shall not infringe on it. So there you go. And I know it's like I'm preaching to the choir, but this is something that you guys need to remember. Like, and just try to remember some of this stuff when you talk to your friends, because there's so many people out there that, first of all, want the Second Amendment totally gone and they don't believe in it. Then there's another kind of people that believe the Second Amendment actually gives them their rights. And neither of them are quite right. So I think it's very important that we know where they came from, and the reason why, the only way they can take it away is if you let them take your right to freely exercise it away. And they're certainly definitely trying to do that a lot right now. Red with the super chat. Thanks a lot, man. Happy birthday, he says. Man, some of you guys probably know me too well and know how old I am. I don't think I want to admit to it. It's getting pretty bad, guys. I'm getting pretty old. Did someone just ask if I'm alive? I'm assuming they were joking. Is he alive? They said. I'm alive. And for another, 42 minutes here? I've got 42 minutes. Then I'm going to be a year older. The Reptile guys, thanks for the super chat, dude, for being a channel member. I appreciate it, man. I need a drink in my unsweetened iced tea here. It's good stuff. You guys will see how beat up the bottles will be soon. I just invested in a 10-pack or 12-pack, whatever it is, to get some new bottles. Then I rewash the bottles and brew my own. By the end of the year, they look pretty ratty for those of you guys that have been around here last summer. I cut grass, by the way, guys. You know, sits in a little cup holder of the mower, going down acres and acres of lawns. Reptile guy says, when I have friends ask me how they should store guns or hide them, so if the government comes, they can't find them. Yeah, I let him know you're part of the problem. Literally, guys, it's getting to that point. Now, people can do whatever they want, but I'd start quoting good old Sam Adams. We ask not your counsels or arms. Crouch down and lick the hands which feed you. May your chain sit lightly upon you, and may posterity forget that ye were our countrymen. Now, I get it. It's online, and there's probably people in the chat right now, and they're saying boating accident, and I get it. A lot of people just mean it as a joke, okay? And I like to have a sense of humor, too. I mean, I try to make fun of I know I'm crappy at it, guys, but I try to do at least one or two impressions of this former vice president, just to maybe get you guys to laugh a teeny bit. So I get it. A lot of people joke online, and when it's in written text, it can be hard to construe whether it's a joke or not. But anyone that's talking about that seriously, like, you guys know what I'm saying, right? I try to have a good sense of humor, but if they're seriously talking about boating accidents, how do I hide it where they can't find? Where can I buy as many 10-round mags as possible? Because I'm going to, like, turn in my 15 and 30 as fast as I possibly can. I don't know. This isn't me saying this. I'm a nice guy, but this is Samuel Adams, a lot smarter than me. Said, may your chain sit lightly upon you. Now, I actually agree with what he says there, and I just don't want to take credit for it because I wasn't smart enough to invent some of these quotes. Mike McClune with the super chat. Thanks a lot, man. 556, he said. Here's a 223. Is that close enough? Thanks, man. He says, haven't been able to watch the chat much. Been busy tonight. Well, that's a good thing. I'm glad you're busy, dude. He says, hope everyone's doing great tonight. We'll have to watch again later this weekend. Have fun, dude. I'll see you around, man. I think it's some kind of joke because he's still alive, they just said. Wait a minute. Carbon Spider's having a birthday in 40 minutes. Happy birthday. What other birthdays are there? May Day, they call it, right? Who else was a May Day baby? Anyone else born May the 1st? Andrew Cano. Thanks, man. He says, happy birthday. Well, thank you. Bill Alexander. He says, I'm aging well. What's happening, Bill? Bill's aging well, too. Look at that old Honda. Is that a Honda CB? What is that? Looks like an old Honda CB to me. I like that motorcycle. Cool Steve 77. Trying to relate the Second Amendment to hunting. Hunting wasn't even mentioned. Absolutely wasn't even mentioned. Look, remember that Tree of Liberty ladder? Thomas Jefferson, 1787. He talked about it, didn't he? The gazetteers lying, their propaganda. Oh, yeah, that's going around right now just as much as it ever has. And if you guys just sit and think to yourselves, man, it seems like these people are lying to me. Just go with your gut instinct. They probably are. Right, Steve? They lie every single day. We need to remember that. Look, truth is treason in the empire of lies. You tell the truth right now, you could get in a lot of trouble. You could lose friends. You could lose your job. You could possibly even lose your life because there's nothing worse than the truth for people that are running an empire of lies, right? Hey, Dubs, what's up, dude? Life, liberty, property. Yeah, you cannot be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. That's another beautiful thing in the Bill of Rights. Your lungs are your property and need to be well regulated. Hey, look. Why are you allowed to breathe fresh air? Well, the governor of Michigan says I can't right now. Just think about that. In the United States of America, can I breathe fresh air? No, you can't, because the governor said so. It should be because the number one inmate and fugitive most wanted, anyone that would do that, anyone that would abuse children willfully, with wantonly endanger children. But it's okay because they said so. Kind of crazy, isn't it? I mean, it's literally beyond crazy. And you should think it's crazy. And you're the normal one. If you think a lot of this stuff going on right now is completely upside down and completely weird, that means you're probably smart and you're probably thinking very clearly. And don't let anyone ever convince you otherwise. Right, Pillbox Bunker? I never listened to her. Well, good. You're a smart man for that. I mean that too. You're a smart man for that. Yeah, orders that were, in our case here in Michigan. What's up, Washburn Billy? Michigander, right? Seen you around for a while, dude. Nice to have you. He says emergency orders only valid for 28 days, non-concurrent. Yeah, and they were all overruled by the Michigan Supreme Court a very, very long time ago. Lance Webb. Well, thanks, man. He said happy birthday. Again, brother, everyone have a great night. I got to go. Well, good night, man. Take it easy, dude. The Joker Stud says hello from Oregon. What's happening, Oregon? How you doing out there? Yep, Edward. I messed up your name last week, man. We'll just call you Ed. What's happening, Ed? He says, yes, open season. Tag him and bag him. Oh, there's some more good quotes, speaking of that, by Samuel Adams. It says, neither the wisest constitution nor the wisest laws will secure the liberty and happiness of the people whose manners are universally corrupt. Think about that. You can have the wisest constitution, the wisest laws ever, but we're never going to have liberty if there's people who are corrupt. Yeah. And I've said this before, and so many of you guys probably say it constantly. Look, at the end of the day, these documents, they're just pieces of parchment paper, unless there's good people. And that's why I always say this is a battle of good versus evil. They're just pieces of paper. You can have the wisest laws, the most beautifully penned and quilled documents, and they are beautiful. I do like the old paper, the penmanship, when people took time to write. You know, I like all that, but it means absolutely nothing if we have a morally corrupt people that want to tread on it. However, if there's a moral people, if there's, my friend Frank left the chat earlier saying, he talked about 3%. Is there 3% right now? Because if there's even a very small amount that's willing to stand up for that, as they were in 1776, well, then they can still remain rule of law instead of just an idea. Some people say, well, this is an idea, that's an idea. Hey, look, it's whatever people are willing to fight for, and if they're morally corrupt, it doesn't matter what's written down. This is another good one. The natural liberty of man is to be free from any superior power on earth, and not to be under the will or legislative authority of man, but only to have the law of nature for his rule. It's another good one, and that's what it says right there in the Bill of Rights, doesn't it? Or the Declaration of Independence. I'm sorry. I was looking at the Bill of Rights there. It says these are laws of nature and nature's God, right? Yeah. So if it feels weird to you, unnatural, that you've got legislators that are hovering over you, that are trying to constrain you and put you in a little box, of course that's weird, because that's not normal. And Samuel Adams knew that like 250 years ago, and you know it today, don't you? The government is supposed to be in a little box, not you, not me. That's not what a republic is. That's not what the United States of America is supposed to be. Another one. Among the natural rights of the colonists are these. First, a right to life. Okay? Well, yeah, because if you're not alive, then I agree with that. Secondly, to liberty. Yeah. Thirdly, to property, together with the right to support and defend them in the best manner they can. That's another way to say the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. You're supposed to decide what the best manner is for you to protect your life, your liberty, and your property, right? These are evident branches of, rather than deductions from, the duty of self-preservation, commonly called the first law of nature. That's really, really powerful. Let me read this again. Among the natural rights of the colonists are these. First, a right to life. Secondly, to liberty. Thirdly, to property, together with the right to support and defend them in the best manner they can. These are evident branches of, rather than deductions from, the duty of self-preservation, commonly called the first law of nature. So they're saying this isn't a zero-sum game where for you to gain, you have to subtract away. No, that's saying the opposite of that. And of course, the government says, well, we want to compromise. Just give up a few guns and then we'll just come back and take more. They never compromise. Compromise would be like, okay, you guys want recreational marijuana? There's some people that would want both. Some people hate one, the other. This is where some people disagree. Okay, fine. You want recreational marijuana in all the states, which is still federally illegal, but the ATF doesn't bust people on that. Well, then we'll compromise. Don't bust them on the marijuana if that's what they want, or if that's what you want, okay. Then don't bust us if we want to make machine guns and suppressors because they're legal in our state. But they never do it that way. They never, ever do it that way. There's many, many things that are federally completely illegal that states willingly do all the time, and that's actually fine with me. States should have more rights than the federal government, except for when it comes to gun laws. Do you guys remember that when Kansas made it a law and said you can have a suppressor, silencer? As long as it doesn't cross state lines, they're completely legal. Somebody built one. The governor signed it into law. It was legal to have a suppressor without getting a tax stamp or going through the National Firearms Act, okay? So he built a non-NFA suppressor, and the feds came right in there and confiscated it and tried to put him in prison. Yeah. If it wasn't for good legal defense that was provided, he would have been in even a lot more trouble than he was. Think about that. Think about that. Nope. It's always like, well, certain things, when it comes to the Second Amendment, they never, ever, ever compromise. Just think about it. When's the last time that any president, no matter how pro-gun they said they were, remember the last one? The last president we've had said, if you elect me, your 8-year assault on the Second Amendment's over. He also said, I'll unsign every gun control there is. Every executive order, I'll unsign it, he said. And I'll make sure that we pass concealed carry reciprocity. Didn't he? And other things. Instead, bump stocks got banned and the Molot Vepers, the one portion of Russian AKs, the plebes were still allowed to buy. He banned those too. Yeah. Now, anyone that says they're going to compromise, that's a lie. And it's always been a lie, and it always will be a lie. And anyone that tells you they're going to give you any rights back, they're actually a liar too, regardless of what political party they're in. I think it's been evident if you guys look back. But yeah, there's some good quotes. I was encouraged by reading a lot of this stuff. I really like the one, if ye love wealth better than liberty, the tranquility of servitude, then the animating contest of freedom, go from us in peace. We ask not your counsels or arms. Crouch down and lick the hands which feed you. May your chains sit lightly upon you. And may posterity forget that ye were our countrymen. I don't know. You guys know people like that? I think we all do, don't we? Thanks, Chuck R. He said, happy birthday. I'm off to bed. I'm getting kind of tired, too. I've been on for almost 2 hours. So I'm going to say goodnight to a couple of you guys, and I need to go get some food still. I was working hard all day today and literally had to run like 10 minutes late on the stream. Got on here and, yeah, haven't had a chance to eat anything even resembling a dinner. I had like 2 bites of a snack like right before I turned the TV on. The right side of wrong says smoking weed is illegal when in possession of a firearm. In many states, yeah, it's federally illegal right now. And someone's going to misconstrue what I'm saying. I'm not even giving my opinion on weed right now. I'm just saying, look, there's some stuff that's federally prohibited, but the feds don't care about. But when it comes to guns, they always care about it. And what's interesting is this. When there was the federal AWB that was in from 94 to 04. I talked about it a lot last week, didn't I? And the former vice president says that he's going to do it again. He promised he'll do it again. We'll see. None of the 50 states will be, the federal government won't allow Michigan, let's just say, right? Rudy Finney's from Michigan. Thanks for the super chat, dude. I appreciate it, man. They're not going to, what if Michigan passes a law? Okay. We'd have to get a lot better governor for this to pass that said, there's no magazine ban in Michigan. Okay, fine. The feds would be in there so fast, busting down doors, shooting dogs, doing everything they do to confiscate and imprison people. They would. They always do. If a state ever passes a law that's less restrictive than the federal government's, they always come in with full force and effect, don't they? But many states, probably half the states now in this country, have less restrictive drug laws than the federal government, and the federal government just leaves it the heck alone, don't they? I'm just saying, it's clearly, and you guys might be able to make compelling arguments that the right to smoke weed is part of your unalienable right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. I'm not having that argument with anyone here right now. I'm just making it a point that there's certain things that they're fine with, but they're never, ever fine with showing any leniency, and I'm saying that very sarcastically in air quotes because they don't have any power over it anyways, but they don't ever show us any leniency on the Second Amendment, do they? No, not a Republican, not a Democrat, quite frankly, none of them in my opinion. John Williams said 2 weeks straight I've been late, but at least I caught the end. Well, at least I got to see you, man. I hope you're doing good, dude. I really do. You're another good one. You always leave good comments that encourage me. Scott Plagman, happy birthday. He says, have a good weekend and family time. It looks like a lot of you guys are turning in a little bit early tonight. You're tired. I get it. I'm kind of starving to death. So I think I'm just going to wrap it up. Let me say hi to a couple more people. Nice to see you again, Rudy Finney. Thanks a lot, man. Seriously. You know, people are going to have different opinions on drugs and all that. I just wanted to make my point, and it was simply this. Whenever it comes to the Second Amendment, you're never going to find them erring on the side of a little more liberty with that, are you? Nope. You can't really fight off a tyrannical government with drugs, can you now? I wonder if that's just a coincidence or not. I don't know. I don't know. Everyone's wishing me happy birthday. Thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate it. It is. And happy birthday to anyone else out there that just had one or is going to have one in the next couple of days. But yeah, May 1st here, literally in about 20 minutes or so. Thank you, Jacobus, man. Thank you. Thank you, Blue Girl and NC. Look at all you guys being so nice to me. I do appreciate it. We the people. Good night, sir. I hope you have a great birthday. Well, thanks. Seriously, you guys are all such nice people. I'm just scrolling through as fast as I can. I will read this whole chat later. I just can't quite get to all of it right this second. Rainy day 4414. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it. The journey to heaven. Happy birthday. We are as old as dirt. I know. Do you guys remember that old country song? I'm much too young to be feeling this damn old. That's kind of what I feel like right now. What does he say? A worn out tape or Chris Ledoux? Lonely women and bad booze or something like that. I can't remember the words, but I do know the part of the song where he says, I'm much too young to be feeling this damn old. Oh, there we go. Reptile guys, thanks for the super chat. He says, I think he knows how old I am. He says, happy birthday, man. You're 42 now, right? You have definitely been an inspiration to a lot of us. I hope this next year is the best you've seen. God bless. Well, thanks a lot, man. He just outed me on my age. What do you think? Should I admit to it? How old am I, guys? I thought we were friends, Reptile guys. He just outed me. I might be 42. I might not be. We'll have to see. Yes, he says, got to ride in Denver tomorrow night, Maverick Man. Yes, you guys know the song I'm talking about. Yep. He said the saddle's getting cold and I'm much too young to be feeling this dang old. All right, thanks, Doug Kennedy. Happy birthday, he says. Thank you, man. Ron Wayne, thank you. Mike McClune with the super sticker. Thanks, dude. I was just getting ready to get off of here, but you guys are all being so nice, wishing me happy birthday. Tons of you, seriously. Hold on a minute. Let's see what super sticker Mike sent me real quick here. Susan Wiki. She's messing with the chat again. Hold on a minute. She'll freeze it up on me, and then when I go to move it, it has to catch back up again. Much love, Ting Ting. She says, much love, the Ting Ting family. Well, I certainly wish you and your family much love. Seriously, tell the little ones. Mike McClune. Oh boy, he's got that hippo again. If you guys wonder what I'm doing, I try to imitate the super stickers, even though I'll admit I'm not too good at it, am I, Mike? That hippo cracks me up. Happy birthday, brother, Rudy Finney said. Well, thanks a lot, man. Look at those Jeeps. Those are pretty cool. Yeah, man, I'd like to meet up with you sometime, too. There's lots of good old boys in Michigan. Look at those nice Jeeps there. Thanks, dude, though, for real. I appreciate your generosity, dude. And I appreciate all the birthday wishes. Look, I literally can't even keep up here. I'm still awakening. Trust in God, my friend. We've seen their plans backfired already, and their overall battle will yield the same results. Keep your guns close and your faith closer. And look, try to have faith, guys, because if you don't have that, what would you have, right? Guerrero, what's happening, Guerrero M? How you doing, man? Oh, boy, he bought a Polaris Ranger since I can't shoot, had to find another hobby, but the piece of junk broke down. Yeah. It's always expensive, isn't it? Anything that's fun usually costs a ton of money, doesn't it? Brian R., well, shout out to your daughter. His daughter's going to be 9 tomorrow. My little girl just turned 9 like 9 days ago, literally. So tell your daughter that my daughter's same age. No, never mind. When kids at that age, let me correct myself. Let me stop. When they're that age, my daughter's much, much, much older than your daughter. She's so much older. She turned 9 days earlier. I've made that mistake before. Have you guys? Oh, they're the same age. When they're that age, they will correct. They will literally correct you. What? I'm like way older than them. I'm a week older. It's cute. It's cute, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, take her to the range, Old Coasty said. What's happening, Old Coasty? Santa Claus, is that you, Old Coasty? Or Santa Claus? It's not. Come on, man. We're just getting ready for summer. It's that time to be thinking about winter yet. All right, guys. Thanks for all the birthday wishes. Thanks, all of you, just for being here. And I appreciate all the generosity, all the kind words. You guys are totally awesome. And if you forgot and you're just getting ready to get off, just hit a thumbs up. It's totally free, and it'll just tick off Susan Wiki just a little bit. Jane Locke, when I'm back in form, I'll grill you a nice steak for your birthday. Not a problem. Not a problem. We'll get to that soon. You'll be back. You'll be back on the right track as soon as possible. I know you will be. All right. You guys are talking about how old you are. Bro, mine turned 49 yesterday. All right. I'll stop complaining about getting old, but I need to go eat some dinner. So I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for all the birthday wishes and just for being nice. I do appreciate it. And I hope you guys have an awesome week. All right. Thanks for watching and have a good one.